Less than 6 months to San Diego Comic-Con and 2 months to WonderCon. There's a whole lot of conventions coming up. It's 2017, our first show of the year. Glad to be back.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's The Con Guy, Comic-Con Prep Show.
You nervous? You nervous? Welcome to the Con Guy Comic-Con Prep Show. This is our first show of 2017. Woo! We are so glad everybody is here with us, and we are packed today. We have a full schedule, but we also have a full house, and so we'll go around and introduce everybody. But let me first say that Emma and Elena are not here with us today. They both have other things. Emma is actually helping to program Anime Los Angeles down in Ontario tonight. She has a late night programming going on. So, Emma, we'll see you soon. All right. I am Jim. I am the managing editor of theconguy.com. That's the website, theconguy.com. You can find me at ConGuyJim or on the general Twitter at theconguy.com. DOTCOM. Got it. All right. Who do we have here?
Hey, I'm Lara Sumera-Samms.
Yeah, that's right, you are.
And
recently married.
I'm recently married to this guy over here. You can find me at La Sumera, L.A. Sumera.
I'm Derek Samms. You can find me at ConGuyDerek on Twitter.
And I am Ben Kliewer. You can find all my social media at BENKLIEWER. That's right, it's very German.
MOUSC.
I was going to say that.
All right, who do we have on the couch today?
I'm Katie Kawamoto. My Twitter, Instagram is at KT_Christine. CHRISTINE.
And I'm Luke Cheeseman, also known as Cheeseman on the Couch. I'm with theconguy.com. I'm a social media director, and you can find me on Twitter at ConGuyLuke.
And we are theconguy.com. Welcome to our very first show of 2017. We're very glad you guys have tuned in. And let me encourage you right up front, please subscribe to the show because, as you probably know, we never know when we're going to be on. Right now, it's 11 o'clock on a Thursday night if you're watching us live. If not, we hope that you guys download us, enjoy us while you work out. But please subscribe so that you can always get us. We have a couple of people. Lara, you've been here with us once before, right?
Yeah, I was on the couch talking about cosplay, Walking Dead.
That's right. And we also have Katie, who this is your very first time with us today. Mm-hmm. Katie is another one of our Comic-Con friends.
Hey.
Katie is one of those crazy people who camps out on the sidewalk at Comic-Con, sometimes 2 or 3 nights in a row. So
She's been my camping buddy at Comic-Con a few times.
I know.
Yeah.
You guys save some money by camping out there. So, Katie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
We just got to ask, though, could you stand up just real quick? We want to see what you're wearing. Whoops. All right.
Oh, watch out. There we go.
All right.
Modesty. Just kidding.
All right. Can you describe it while we don't see your head?
So this is made out of 3 of my previous Comic-Con bags from my first 3 years of Comic-Con. Mm-hmm. Every year they have a contest about who can make bags out of dresses or refurbish the dresses. So that was what I did
Dresses
last
out of
minute.
bags.
On the back you can kind of see it. There's pockets out of a third bag. So yeah, it's 3 different bags. I tried to utilize all the normal closures to close the dress.
All right, thanks a lot. And we will be seeing a couple of pictures of Katie a little bit later. With Katie is one of Katie and Ben. We count them as kind of our resident experts when it comes to cosplay and cosplay costumes and keeping us up to speed on what's going on in the world of cosplay. Because I am, I'm not that great at that yet. I think this year, though, I might steampunk it. And there's a reason I might steampunk it, all right? We got to say congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Samms.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
This lovely couple just got married New Year's Eve. And why don't you tell us a little bit about your rehearsal dinner? And we have pictures that... if you guys are watching on YouTube, go ahead and take a look at the pictures. But if not, if you can describe what we're seeing, Lara.
Sure, yeah. Luke and Jim were both in our wedding. They were both groomsmen. So we had a dress rehearsal. We called it our cosplay rehearsal the night before the wedding. And we just wanted it to be fun. And we had everybody dress up steampunk.
Ray Charles.
Yes.
Ray Charles. Cosplay, too.
If you're watching, one of our friends dressed up as kind of a Sammy Davis Jr. kind of look. But we wanted wanted to just have fun with it, and so some of our decorations were kind of steampunkish, and we didn't obviously dress up like that the day of the wedding, but we wanted to have fun with it, and so we kind of went all out the night before. And a lot of people actually showed up, and we kind of did a mashup. Derek and I. Derek did steampunk Superman, and I did steampunk Wonder
You
Woman.
can't really see the symbol very well here, but I do have
Nice.
I added
Yeah.
gears.
I had this corset, and then I didn't have a cape, but I used this leather jacket for my cape, and then instead of a band, I had these goggles. I just don't have a W, so some people were kind of confused as to what I was trying to do, but that's all right. It was still a lot of fun.
Oh, there's the full wedding
Yeah,
party.
my
Full
matron
party.
of honor came. Her and her husband dressed up as steampunk Hans and Leia. So that was very, very bittersweet as well. We literally had a moment of silence at our rehearsal dinner for Carrie Fisher, and we just had a fun gang. And some people just did straight up steampunk, not a mashup, and that was also fun. It was great. It was a lot of fun.
I must say, that was one of the most enjoyable rehearsal dinners that I can remember. And the wedding itself was a blast.
Oh.
It was really a
I
blast.
thought so. It's the best wedding I've been to.
Ditto.
We should add for our rehearsal dinner. We actually went to the old spaghetti factory in San Jose, which has that cool, like,
Oh, yeah.
Vintage-y.
sort of Victorian-looking atmosphere to it. So it worked really well with all of us in steampunk cosplay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Sorry, I'm on your head. And
Yeah, my hair.
you guys were going to show us what's the necklaces that you guys got on right now?
Oh, these? This is a surprise I had for Lara when we got back after
Yes.
the wedding.
Yeah, it was his Christmas present that came later.
Yeah.
But if you put them together,
It's the
they're the Rebel Alliance sign, and on one side it says "I love you."
And mine says I know.
Well, that's perfect. Well, congratulations, you guys. Derek, we actually have a little bitty something to give you from your bachelor party, which
Really?
was the Nerds bachelor party. Cheeseman?
And a little bit of a birthday present.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah, I had
what
that
did
this week,
we
too.
get in Vegas?
Oh,
The nerdy bachelor boys.
Yeah.
So this
Nice.
is for you.
Okay, so Luke's going to walk over and hand that to you, which doesn't look great on video, but
aw!
but all right, go ahead and give it to him.
Oh, I like it.
Look
so.
at all those strippers.
Turn it around.
Just kidding.
So, anyways, just
That's
in
just
case,
me and
is that on
Luke.
Fremont?
Fremont Street. So,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
case you guys don't know, we kind of did a show right before or right after Derek's bachelor party where we said yes, nerds can have fun in Vegas too.
Oh yeah.
And so it was a lot of fun.
Especially when there's a convention going on.
Nerds can get married.
Yeah, we took Derek to a Comic-Con in Las. He didn't know there was a Comic-Con happening in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
So
There totally is. Yeah.
So we planned. We're gonna take him to Vegas, and we're gonna have the nerdiest time. Just like what was the TV Parks and Recreation?
Yep.
Who got married?
It was Leslie and Ben.
We're getting married,
Right.
and remember the bachelor party where everybody had a section of the bachelor party. They had their best bachelor party, so we split it up and did all crazy nerdy stuff.
Yeah.
So it was a
Nice.
lot of fun.
And he wore the hat last episode, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I
Last
did that.
year.
Yeah.
Bachelor
Yeah.
boy.
That was a long time ago.
Well, anyways,
2016.
so we've got a lot to talk about. Congratulations, you guys have started the year
Thanks.
off right.
Yeah.
We hope many more to come. But let's go ahead and get started right now. Derek, if you can take us through the bulletin board real quick. We got a lot of Comic-Cons and conventions coming up, real fast.
Yes, as always. Starting February 17th and 18th, we have Wizard World Portland. And then February 18th and 19th, that weekend up a little closer to us, Long Beach Comic Expo. And then Emerald City is March 3rd through 5th. March 17th and 18th, Salt Lake Comic Fan X. And then in Greenville, South Carolina, Greenville Comic Con is March 25th and 26th. And then finally, Wondercon in Anaheim, March 31st to April 2nd.
Right.
Back to Anaheim.
So we're going to talk a little bit about, actually, San Diego Comic-Con and WonderCon here. It's kind of weird to think we're talking about San Diego Comic-Con right now, but
Yeah.
we're only
Gotta
6
start
months
planning.
out, and there's already a lot of stuff that everybody needs to know if you're planning on going to San Diego Comic-Con. WonderCon is just right around the corner, and as everybody knows, we really have to get going on that. But Greenville, South Carolina Comic-Con, March 25th and 26th. This message goes out to my niece Reagan. I'm planning on you going, giving us a report, and reporting back for the show. All right. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Reagan, do it.
And to my brother Jeff, please take her this year. Come on,
Yeah.
let's be honest. All right. So, Week in Geek. We did have some things happening this week. The biggest of which is probably the brand new Star Wars movie came out. What was the name of the movie?
The
The
Last,
Last
Jedi.
Jedi.
The Last Jedi, and everybody's asking who the heck is the Last Jedi? Who do you think the Last Jedi is?
Well, as we all have to remember, the plural of Jedi is Jedi. That's been the big thing
That's
recently
a good point.
online.
You know, I didn't actually think about that.
So it could be singular, it could be plural. The other thing is, in the opening crawl for The Force Awakens, it does refer to Luke Skywalker as the Last Jedi. So that's something to keep in account as well.
And Yoda says, "When I die,
The Last Jedi.
of the Jedi, you will be."
So there's a lot of speculation, of course, that this is going to be a movie about Luke, and it's going to feature, can we learn, or are we going to learn the backstory of what has happened since the end of Return of the Jedi to this point? Yeah. Are we going to learn about Rey's past? Are we going to learn about Kylo Ren's past? That sort of thing, and it looks like it's going to hopefully,
and sadly
answer some questions. And sadly, yes.
Sadly, it is probably going to be the final time we're going to see our precious Princess Leia. Or Admiral, General.
General.
Unless
Organa.
Unless they save some of those scenes and they're going to stretch it out to the next film, which I hear might be a possibility. They won't CGI her.
They've already stated, they're not going to CGI her.
I'm glad for that.
Yeah, me too.
Because that was one thing I didn't really like about Rogue One.
Oh wait, you can talk about it now.
It's been a month. Okay, but I can see that there were CGI characters in Rogue One.
The statute of limitations is over for Rogue One.
It's been a month we can talk about.
But I'm not ruining any plot device saying there were CGI
mean that wasn't
characters.
Really him?
Yeah.
You're not saying there's a CGI princess? No.
Yeah, but anyway, that was one thing that I just didn't like as well about the movie because it kind of takes me away from it.
Oh, the one character, General Tarkin.
Yeah.
His I didn't mind. Well, his looked
really.
This guy
it's
right
like what
here.
they talk about with 30 Rock.
Right.
Do you remember in 30 Rock there's an episode where they describe I think the uncanny valley where if characters look too realistic without being completely real, then it's just kind of creepy.
Yeah.
It's that middle of the curve there. But
I will tell you the movie that I just can't watch. It might have the best message, and it's Polar Express.
I knew you were going to say that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Every time anyone
My
talks about
family loves
CGI and it being too close to humans,
It's like watching
My
a
dad
wax
loves
museum.
that movie. Every year he's like, let's watch Polar Express.
And not just the creepy Tom Hanks, the hobo Tom Hanks on top of the train, but the little kids, the little girl is
gosh.
yeah. Anyway, that was what Tarkin was like for me.
All right, Gene
Moving
Simmons
on.
of Kiss. Gene Simmons of Kiss has put together a solo band, and he will be performing at 5 Wizard World Comic-Cons events this year. Cleveland, March 18th and 19th, St. Louis in April, Philly in June, Chicago in August, and Austin in November. So we saw Gene Simmons where did we see Gene Simmons last year?
It was at the Warner Brothers lot. They were doing the Justice League and not the Justice League, Batman vs Superman,
Right.
and the Suicide Squad.
It was right when Suicide Squad was coming out.
Which is probably still there, I assume. At Warner Brothers.
It was part of the VIP
know?
tour that you take at Warner Brothers, and they have all the costumes. But to kick off the day, Gene Simmons comes in, and he just starts talking about how he loves comic books, and he loves the Justice League, and he loves Batman.
Cool.
And it's at that point I was like, he must be one of us. And
They should get him to do the song for the credits in the Justice League.
One
movie,
of us. But I just thought that was kind of cool. So Gene Simmons is going to be making the rounds this year.
Does he still own an arena football team down in Anaheim? Is that still a thing?
It was him and
I don't know.
one of the other guys from Kiss.
I think it
They
was.
bought it.
I didn't
think
see a
that,
season 2
as
of the
far as I
show.
know, that's no longer a thing because I worked I worked at the Honda Center for 2 seasons that they had it. I didn't work any games the second season. I worked 1 the first season. And I don't think it got renewed.
I think
as far
it went
as I
away,
know.
right?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure after the 3-year contract or 2-year contract, it just wasn't.
They just dissolved. Well, we got the Rams
Basically,
now and the Chargers.
Chargers.
Oh,
apparently.
which ring? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a
Which is a piece of information. Did you guys hear about
It is a piece of information.
What is it?
I heard it from
I don't know.
Okay. Why is it significant that the Chargers are leaving San Diego and coming to Los Angeles?
Because of Comic-Con?
Because of Comic-Con. Why? Come on. It's a
Because
Well,
the
I would
stadium?
I would think
Yeah.
the city voted down the extra money to build them a new stadium,
That is
and I
correct.
know that the convention center has been rallying the city for similar upgrades.
ding,
to,
ding, ding, ding.
Yes.
You have.
and a
because-
judge ruled that was okay.
The judge ruled now that they can expand the convention center, and the Chargers were standing in the way. The Chargers wanted a different design that was kind of like a mix between the stadium and the convention, and it was not going to be a contiguous. It wasn't going to be one big thing. It was going to be a little bit away.
I see.
So now this is clear. It's cleared the hurdle. The judges ruled just this week that they can expand
Yay.
San Diego Convention Center, which is great news. They
a
don't,
little part of me feels like that's nerds beating jocks.
A little bit. It's a little bit. Because
Revenge of the Nerds.
It's
Finally.
Revenge of the Nerds. Now LA
Chargers.
has a second football team that nobody wants here.
Okay,
And
I was gonna ask
Now
just
we
to be
have two
sure
of them.
that's football. I was like,
the Rams. People wanted the
Right.
Rams. People were okay with the Rams. The Chargers, like everyone's like, why are you coming here? We already have.
Luke played football. We got to give him a little bit of credit.
oh, that's
I
nice.
played football as well. I played football.
Yeah, but these teams.
I played in the yard with my brother once or twice.
So, anyways, I thought that was pretty
I
cool
lost.
news. Also, James Cameron. Did you hear the news about James Cameron and Terminator?
Yeah, he got the rights back or something, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's planning on.
There's
going to
be another James Cameron
another James
Terminator.
Cameron
I'm
Terminator.
back.
So
Well,
you-
it's the
by
final
that you mean
one,
another
like
good
the
Terminator.
conclusion.
Yeah,
Edward
like Laura says.
Furlong, Linda Hamilton, maybe.
Maybe.
I
That'd
don't
be
know.
fun.
No, but like Laura said, did I say it right?
You did.
I'm getting there. I'm terrible with names. Laura is not her name. It's Lara. So, anyways, James Cameron has Terminator back, but he wants to finish it.
Yes.
Let's finish it.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
To
That's good
actually
to
Please.
hear.
end it would be nice.
And
It's never over.
That's yeah.
It'll be rebooted.
It will.
When
few
he dies.
years.
Yeah.
Or
and,
sooner.
And last bit of
Starring
news
The Rock.
here. We'll talk. I was hoping that either Elena or Emma would be here to talk about this tonight, but Amazing Phoenix Comic-Con and Amazing Houston Comic-Con were both canceled. So a lot of people are saying it's kind of like there is an oversaturation in the market now in some markets, and so some of the smaller conventions might be making way. Las Vegas, Amazing Las Vegas is still happening. Amazing Hawaii is still happening. Those are the two that, they're the coolest anyways. But
Vegas, Hawaii, those are the ones you keep.
and just like Elena told us one time, she goes, the ones that are thriving are the ones in tourist destinations. So
Yeah.
those are the areas that the Comic-Cons are really getting big.
I know Denver's blowing up. Denver is getting huge with their Comic-Con, from what I understand. A lot of people are going there. And, it's interesting that because I didn't know that about the San Diego Convention Center. I just knew that the Chargers were coming here. I didn't
It just
realize.
happened this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they've been talking about expanding it for forever.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting because I think they've been working on that big expansion to the Anaheim Convention Center, and I think it was kind of a power play by the Comic-Con company because they host WonderCon there to support the expansion of Anaheim to get San Diego to kind of pony up the cash to expand the San Diego Convention Center. Otherwise, the rumor was they were going to threaten to move to Anaheim or LA.
Oh, wow.
But I know that you mean the convention itself?
The Comic-Con International Convention itself.
I heard Anaheim is too small, even though I've heard Anaheim's the largest convention center on the West Coast, which doesn't. I've heard that, but anytime there's a convention at Anaheim, it feels much smaller.
Well, and they have been expanding it. That's what all that work, that construction work has been. But the LA Convention Center, though, is not. It feels uncomfortable.
Downtown Los Angeles, there's
Oh,
nothing.
it's downtown though.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
There's no parking, and I remember was it WonderCon was there last year?
Yeah, and it was very strange.
And you drive up and you get your WonderCon program, and the big ad on the back is next year we're not in LA.
Stan Lee's Comic-Con is okay there. Like that kind of feels like
works.
it's more homegrown there.
And
so
they had 91,000 people this year at the Stanley's LA Comic-Con.
there you go.
So, speaking of which, since we're talking about conventions that are coming up, we did an article this past week on the Con Guy. I just want to kind of go through this real quick. Since we're talking about what's coming up, we're going to jump into San Diego and WonderCon in just a second. But these are like some of the biggest conventions. Since we're talking 2017, you should be thinking about these. Emerald City, you talked about. March. It's in March. 88,000 attendees last year. Wow. WonderCon, 60,000. That comes up at the end of March. Star Wars Celebration in Orlando. We were just talking on the way over here. I might be heading to that one. I'm so excited.
Nice.
It's April 13th through 16th. 60,000 attendees. C2E2, which is the Chicago Comic-Con, 70,000. D23 Expo, 45,000 attendees, but 77,000 foot traffic is what I hear. And that's in July, which is just the beginning of the same week as San Diego Comic-Con, which is at the end of the week, which is 130,000, depending on how you count. That's July 19th.
I count with numbers.
Dragon Con, almost done, 77,000. Salt Lake Comic-Con, get this, 125,000.
Wow.
My friend went to that one last year.
What did she say? Did she like it?
She seemed like she had a blast. I know that the twins from Harry Potter, Fred and George, were both there.
Oh, nice.
So she was super excited about that. But yeah, she went. She actually moved back here, but she was like, if I still live up there, you got to go with me again.
I was reading up about that, and these people that run the Salt Lake Comic-Con, they're like, they don't feel like they're getting enough attention, but 125.
Yeah, that's still
what
huge.
else is around there though? Anyways, that's
Roman Tabernacle.
okay.
So
And then
like-
two more. New York Comic Con in October, 170,000 attendees. However, they count theirs different than San Diego, so we'll let those two
Yeah, but
Duke it out.
duke it out. And then finally, Stanley's LA Comic Con, 91,000. So those are on our website. So those are like the biggies, the ones that we
Yeah.
found had the biggest attendance, the most cultural impact. If you guys are thinking about which ones you want to attend this year. So before we jump into, we're gonna do WonderCon first. But Luke, we have somebody on the website that's been doing a lot of stuff for us lately. A friend of yours.
Yes, we have a recent contributor. Hello, Jake. He's been doing a lot of unboxing videos recently, so that's going to be a new component to our website this year. Very exciting. He's doing especially
Exclusives.
some stuff with like some of the Star Wars unboxing. We already have one up there, and we're going to have more coming up soon. He's also going to start doing movie reviews and
Oh, cool.
even like older, terrible versions of Marvel films that they made, like the Captain America. and
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the
The old Thor.
Fantastic
Nice.
Four,
Old cheesy stuff.
and all
I
that,
can't
the
wait.
cheesy
Yeah.
ones, just so they could basically keep
Grace.
the rights. So
Great.
they're gonna do kind of like a before and after thing. So keep your eye open for Jake, and he'll often have like other friends on with him. But it's gonna be very entertaining. That'll be on our YouTube channel, but all
That's
driven
awesome.
through our website, theconguy.com.
And I also
keep your
wanna-
eye out for that.
And Jake, thanks a lot because your video everyone loved it. The unboxing video for the Rogue One it's AT-ACT. I don't know why they call it the ACT because the old ones are the AT-AT. So, anyways, it was great. It was really good. But so Jake's gonna start doing that. Emma and Elena, we're gonna start featuring. They do a whole bunch of different shows here at the Popcorn Talk Network and AfterBuzz, and so we're gonna feature them a little bit more on the website as well because they
Yeah.
got some very cool shows. That
Oh, yeah.
really that they're always at the Comic Cons and stuff. So let's feature them a little bit more. Derek, hopefully you're gonna finish your. Derek's got some stuff he's going to be working on for us, especially the fitness stuff. I mean, I really would like to see
He
that.
stopped working out now that he's married.
yeah, that's true.
Over her dead body.
All right. So WonderCon. WonderCon is coming. I just said WonderCon is coming up at the end of March, beginning of April. So there's a lot going on. WonderCon is about 2 months away. And who in the room is planning to go to WonderCon this year?
I'll be there.
All right. I guess just
Gonna try.
maybe. All
Gonna
right.
try.
Yeah, we have a wedding to go to, so.
Unfortunately, this is the pitfalls of married life. We have to go attend family stuff.
Is it not Easter weekend this year?
No.
No,
Easter
it's not.
weekend.
I just realized that like when I saw the dates, I was like, wait, Easter's later on.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually on
Isn't
Easter,
that
but
nice?
it's not
Yeah.
this year.
No Easter this year.
Although it might have been easier for us
There
to get
is
there
no
if it had
Easter.
been on Easter.
There is no Easter, only Zoom.
Yeah, and that was another thing they advertised. In Anaheim, not Easter weekend this year. So anyways, badges are on sale right now for WonderCon. Also, the trade badges, press badges, all types of badges, they're all... Wait, I got that wrong. General badges are on sale right now. Trade badges and press badges are not yet available
No.
for WonderCon, right?
Last year, I don't think they came up until like 2 or 3 weeks before the convention,
Wow.
and then Comic-Con came out a week after that. So
Yep.
it's they wait till the last minute on those pro badges. For us.
The Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con and WonderCon, it seems like they all break out right at the same time almost. It's just kind of
Yeah.
ridiculous. I emailed to inquire about the badges, and they say that all the rest of the you can buy a badge now, or the trade professionals, and press badges will all be released very soon. That's all he said. So
Whatever that
Very
means.
soon. Yeah.
it was a form letter. If you are writing to inquire about when the badges will be
Right.
available, they will be available soon.
Did you write like a physical like snail mail letter and like
that's-
mail it in? Did you do it in?
I didn't. I
Cursive and-
sent an owl.
Nice.
All
Where's
right.
my raven?
And let me ask, because for people who are watching this, a lot of you guys are professionals. You're creative professionals or trade professionals, or or general admission. You guys got trade professionals this year, right? As opposed to
Yes.
I got the creative professionals, and
what
you
I have
creative
too.
professional.
Yep.
And we even have a friend. I don't want to name him, but I was waiting for you to
Did you
tell
say
the story.
Jon Snow?
No, anyways, we have a friend who's like
He tried to get a professional badge, but he knows nothing.
He knows nothing.
He knows nothing
No,
about the
we have a
process.
friend of ours.
I think they're
an
like
executive.
super picky on like whether or not you're physically creating content or part of doing different nerd stuff. But I totally think he could. It might be an assistant.
Well, anyways, we have a
issue
friend
or
who is
something.
he's
I don't know.
a movie executive who purchases films based on comic book properties, and he was turned down this year.
Interesting.
So, which was kind of weird, but he's not a creative professional, I guess, even though he wants to make
But that's
a movie.
what they have the trade professional category for, is for people like that specifically. But this year it seems like they ran out of creative professional spots
fast.
and gave away trade professionals to creative professionals who just didn't qualify in time or something.
Well, you and I both also sent our packets like later. He sent it really early. I wonder if
Super
that had
early,
to do it.
I
Has
don't know.
something to do with it as well. I don't know.
I sent it in the day that it opened up.
Yeah.
Well, no, I take it back.
But for your friend who didn't get it qualified as a trade professional, though, that still surprises me.
Eric was trade
Yeah.
professional as well, and he.
Okay, yeah.
And he's a creator. He's a writer. Yeah. So
he's a writer
surprise
who's
me.
like actually writing for shows and things. I mean,
Yeah. So I
well, his day job though was not that.
maybe
At
that's
the
what.
time, maybe.
Yeah, because
but-
he works in finance
Oh, maybe that's
by
what it
trade.
is.
So
Well, for any professionals out there, if I may just interject for a
Please
moment,
do.
any professionals out there who are like, hey, I'd love to go to Comic-Con, but how do I do it? The way I did it was I'm a working actor, so I had credits on IMDb. And basically what I did was I sent in a physical packet with print-offs of my casting things on IMDb, circled my name, wrote in the letter. If you go onto the Comic-Con website, you can go under professionals, and it'll have a list of the steps you have to complete. And the deadline is usually, I think, the end of October.
They changed it this year. It was earlier.
Oh,
Okay.
wasn't it end of
It
September?
was
or
like
something?
end of September. It caught me by
Yeah.
surprise because
Okay.
I was
because
like,
you and I were texting back and forth.
yeah.
Yeah, because I'll have to re-register for this year, so hopefully I can. I'll have to double check that now.
But it was different this year.
yeah, I think it was September, the very end of September. It was a month earlier.
And I know that press for San Diego, we won't find out until, after WonderCon probably. But
Right.
all that is to say, trade professionals, creative professionals, press, and exhibitors are, I guess you're not, I don't know. I did not look into the exhibitors. I guess I should have. But I know the exhibitors is open for San Diego Comic-Con right now.
Right.
So, but WonderCon, you'd think that they've got that all locked down because they're having to know who's coming. Sorry for just talking the weeds there, but anyway.
Well, there's certain things people need to know. The people need to know it, Jim.
Exactly.
This is
And
why we do what we do.
If you want to go, you can still sign up as a volunteer for WonderCon right now. You get to
that's
go in for free. So if you want to go in, they are accepting volunteers on their site right now. Another thing they're accepting on their site, and I don't know if you guys have ever participated in the Masquerade, which is now open until March 17th. Have you?
Yeah.
It is. It's a time commitment. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
I basically 2 years ago, my girlfriend and I were involved with it, and we essentially committed our entire Saturday to it. Which
We're talking WonderCon right now.
Oh, I'm talking about the San Diego Comic-Con is the
go ahead.
masquerade that we participated in because it's such a huge thing.
Yeah.
And really, I had no idea that the masquerade was such a big deal at every convention, pretty much.
It is now.
And, it's not just, hey, I made this costume. Look at me, judges. It's you have to put together a whole act and everything that goes with it. So, but we basically, in 2015, we kind of gave up our whole Saturday to be involved with the masquerade. But it is kind of an incredible event with all these kind of traditions that have developed over the last 2 decades or however long that they've been doing this. So
What was your costume and performance?
we
you
did
tap dance?
We did Into the Woods. There was a group of us and we did
Nice.
Into
Oh,
the
wow.
Woods, and so we had a whole choreographed bit and all that, and some pretty good costumes,
Yeah.
like some pretty legit costumes. So we had a couple costume designers that worked with us on it. So
Did they give you a time limit on your
the wolf.
performance?
there's something like it's a handful of minutes. I can't remember because we just went out and we did like one choreographed song and then danced off stage. And,
Cool.
So, but it was fun. It was a lot of work though.
I think it varies depending on how many people you have in your
Like
in
the
your
groups.
performance. Yeah, because
Right.
like I know last year, I think it was at WonderCon. I don't remember if it was WonderCon or Comic-Con. There was a I can't remember what the name is right now. Monster High group that had like I want to say like 15 people, and they were on stage for a decent amount of time. So I think
Wow.
I think it varies depending on how many people you have in your group.
I know last year a couple buddies of mine for Comic-Con Masquerade, they did the Knights of Ren, and they had a
Oh, yeah?
Ray. They had a Ray, and they kind of reenacted that whole flashback sequence and kind of
Nice.
added to it and stuff. So
Oh, that's cool.
Well, to wrap up WonderCon, so the Masquerade entry is now open. You can do the advanced registration until March 17th. After that, I think you can... I don't think they have on-site registration for the Masquerades. I know in San Diego they do not. WonderCon's a little bit different because they do have a little bit more room. But if you win the Masquerade, you get a free badge to WonderCon for the next year, which is kind of a cool prize.
That's cool.
And last but not least, the hotels. The hotels are the special discounted as a
quote unquote
here. It used to be $119 for the Hilton and the Marriott there, and then it jumped up to $129 this year. $199.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
they're up there.
You
$199.
like $200 now for the convention center hotel. It's $116 for Red Lion, which is not quite as nice. But the Hilton is the headquarters hotel this year. Because it kind of switches back and forth. Sometimes it's Marriott, sometimes it's Hilton. They're going to be having late night gaming going on inside the Hilton, and that's most of the talent will be staying in the Hilton. So if you want to be on the inside of where the action is, it's the Hilton.
Yeah, we were trying to book rooms for WonderCon at the Hilton, and it was, they were like, "Which group are you with?" I'm like, "I'm not with a group. I just want a room." And they're like, "Oh, we've got them all blocked off for groups."
Yeah.
And it's like, "Oh, we're staying at the Annabella down the street."
But the Annabella's a pretty cool place.
It's pretty cool, but they're still booking for $1.99 or
They're super expensive.
$199 to $30 a night, something like that.
First
So-
year, I remember when Luke booked us one year at. Where did you book us? That
Was it? Oh, it was the night before that we went down there. It was just somewhere along the way. Like it was down by.
Yeah, it was like a real cheap motel.
there were armed
I was
guards
with you
standing
guys there.
outside
Yeah.
because they were.
Oh wait, the
Yikes.
Motel 6.
yes,
Was it just Motel
that's
6?
the
Okay.
one
But
I'm
you
talking
think Motel 6s are usually
Yeah,
not
motel.
bad or
And it
whatever,
wasn't
but
so much
then
the
this
motel.
one
It was just
super-
that part of town was
wait.
apparently a rough place.
What kind
Yeah.
of militia does a Motel 6
No, not a
employ?
militia. It was.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't really militia. I remember they were
They were
guards.
counting people, how many do you have in your room, and they're trying to charge us, and then it was just shady outside.
I was walking back to my room and they came up and said, "You guys really shouldn't be walking around at nighttime." I'm like, "What are you talking
It's
about?"
by Disneyland.
You're like, "Man, I
This
got,
is
a,
not-
I got a lightsaber. I'm not
It
worried."
depends where you're at in Anaheim.
It was
I guess
just a
that's true
couple
of any
miles
city.
away from the convention.
Why do you say that,
was the
Katie?
wrong
Because there
place.
is still certain areas of Anaheim that are not a good area.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't know
It's
what
still
you're
a
talking
city.
about.
Yeah, I think we found one that night. But
There's
All right.
one, there's part where there's like a haunted mansion and stuff. It's scary.
I love that part of Anaheim. So anyway, we will have more information on WonderCon the closer we get to it. That's going to be towards the end of March, beginning of April. It's going to be a great convention. And if you don't have an opportunity to go to San Diego Comic-Con, I encourage you to go to WonderCon. It is basically San Diego, just a little bit smaller.
It's a mini
It is.
SDCC.
A lot of times they'll have a lot of celebs there, a lot of TV industry there, a lot of films are there. Like a lot of the films that are going to be too late for San Diego, we're hoping that they come to WonderCon this year.
We got a lot coming out this year.
Oh my gosh, this is a giant year. We're gonna have a special movie issue, but we'll talk about that in just a second if we don't run out of time. But the one thing I want to encourage everybody: the first thing you have to do for both we're moving into San Diego Comic-Con now. We're 6 months out from San Diego Comic-Con. Let's talk about what we need to know. Number one, you must register for a member ID. You have to do that for both. If you don't have a member ID, you are up. You know what?
It's
Creek.
free. It's free.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely free.
You just sign up and get the ID, and that's how you can access everything
Yeah.
and log in and buy tickets, maybe.
So this is what I know so far. Returning registration. Last year was called pre-registration. This year they're calling it returning registration. And open registration will be occurring again in early 2017.
Yeah.
So that hasn't happened yet. It's probably going to be February from what I've heard. But there's no guarantee because, they're kind of mum about that. Last year, open registration was February 20th. So you can kind of think about that. And returning registration was in late January. So we are getting real close to where make sure you have a member ID with your email listed in there because you'll get email that says, hey, registration is open. So make sure that you know, or they'll be telling you when it is. Follow them, follow Toucan Blog, follow us.
Yeah.
We will always tell you. Follow our Twitter feed at the Con Guy, DOTCOM. So, and we'll try to keep you up to date. So make sure you have your member ID. Be paying attention to when registration is going to happen. Let me see. First-time attendees, professionals, guest professionals, trade professionals, exhibitors, and exhibitor purchase attendee badges, volunteers, staff, complimentary passes, and press are not eligible to participate in returning registration.
Yeah.
So any of those exhibitors, trade, any of that stuff, you have to wait till after. it's actually after open registration occurs before we all register. So it kind of keeps you on pins and needles. Should I go ahead and try to get a badge ahead of time? Which,
it kind of sucks. But if you are already registered as a professional, you are guaranteed your badge. At least the policy that they had last
It didn't
year.
say
No.
that this year.
It didn't
it's
say
different.
it this year?
They changed. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
what?
back to how it was 2 years ago or 3 years
Okay.
ago when
So
you
it's-
have to go on. That's what I'm assuming. Is it said you're not guaranteed? So I'm guessing it's going to be the same way it was like 3 years ago when you still had to go on at 9
shoot.
o'clock in the morning and
Yeah.
hope you get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like
Really?
last year was great because we were guaranteed your own personal badge. You had like a month or two to claim it. That didn't mean you could get a guest on. So
Right.
and
The guest was always still a lottery.
yes, well, and the guest may I was talking to somebody may be just paid guests this year, so we don't know. I just they're just filling up. They just have too many people. They need to expand that convention center.
Right.
And we may be telling you completely incorrect information right now, but we think we're pretty accurate. We're professional registration. I
But
think
of course, we'll update when we learn more.
as soon as we
Yes.
learn more, and there's some good blogs and places to follow out there. A couple of my favorite, the San Diego Comic-Con unofficial blog. I'm going to do a shout out to you guys. You guys are great. You're always on top of everything. Carrie Dixon over there, I just can't tell you how great it is to be following you because you guys are really on top of it. Tony Kim with Crazy for Comic-Con. He always hosts a big event down in San Diego, but his site is pretty good as well. Convention scene is always good. But of course, theconguy.com. We will pull all that information together for you. So, all the trade professionals, guests, blah, 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 wait until after regular registration. Registration will be open. Hotels, which is just the biggest pain in the behind, probably is going to be early April. It looks like it's going to, On Peak is going to be handling it again this year. At first, word got out that it was April 6th, but On Peak then tweeted and said, oh, it's not April 6th, so who knows, it might be April 6th. But it's one of those things where as soon as hotels go on sale, you get like 1.2 seconds to put in your hotel request. The site crashes, and then you find out yay or nay if you're in. So it's
Right.
the most miserable experience in the world. I take it back. Last year for Cheeseman, it kind of worked, right? The hotel registration?
Yeah, for the first time like ever. But
First time ever, yeah. I mean, because
well, like I did the thing you're not supposed to do, where you do multiple emails, but which could screw it up. I'm not recommending that.
I think it screwed me up because I tried the same
yeah,
thing and I got blocked.
It's probably better to because if the information is too similar, then it kind of takes your most recent submission. So, but somehow it worked out. But I'm not recommending that. It's probably better to just stick with your stuff unless you do completely different information and have the other person that's going with you fill it out. And I mean, get as many people of your friends together and try to do it the right way would be my best.
The best way to get
suggestion.
badges if you're in open registration and to get hotels, have a group of people. One of you will get it. We had a group of 3 or 4 of us, all these laptops, and you're the one who got in. So Luke got our hotel this year. Last year, we were out in Timbuktu, wherever it was at. But this year we actually got downtown. It was a whole different year.
Yeah.
It was great.
It's nice to have friends that
Paradise.
live in San Diego.
It is. Yeah.
I stayed in Tijuana last year, so it's
I stayed in Chula Vista one year, and that was a miserable experience. Nothing against Chula Vista, folks. All right.
it's just getting to
Great
the convention
tacos
center
there.
from there
Tacos
is a
gordos.
pain in the butt.
And also, vendors and exhibitors applications are now being taken for San Diego Comic-Con. Vendors and exhibitor applications are now being accepted. All right, we're going to move on to cosplay. By the way, all of this information, you can find it on our website. You can find it, check out the other places I was telling you to check out, but we're going to keep you up to date. The Toucan blog, which is the official blog, which is on the San Diego Comic-Con International, is a great place to be following at all times.
Yeah, one more thing. What I discovered last year is when the San Diego Comic-Con app was actually pretty helpful.
Yes.
It was surprisingly helpful. I didn't expect it to be that good, and it was a little buggy when I first downloaded it, and I think they ran an update, and it
In years
actually...
past, I used it and I was like, Psh, "This is worthless."
Yeah, it ended up
No,
working
it's
pretty well
good.
because I was able to
Yeah.
keep track of what time, what
Yeah.
was starting, and that
That's
sort of thing.
good.
So
Yeah.
Tap for more. I'm looking at their app right. Yes. Whoops. Well, this is awkward. Okay, it's not working right now.
well, the convention's not happening right now.
Looks
It's true.
Okay. Well, usually they have a countdown clock or something. I must be doing it wrong. So, okay. Anyways, download. The app is good. I'm just not doing it well right now.
It's okay.
I'm not touching the screen the way you're supposed to. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
This stuff never works when you need it to.
So those are the specifics of San Diego Comic-Con, 6 months out. This is the convention. If you want to go, and everybody always says, hey, how can I get tickets this year to San Diego Comic-Con? I always say, you can't really. But that's just hyperbole. There's a good chance, there's like a 1 in 10 chance you'll get a ticket, 1 in 16, something like that. But become a comic book creator. It's easier to get into the show. Become a creative professional who creates stuff. Become a trade. Those are the ways you get in. Or how is it that you're getting in? That's right. I'm
a creative professional.
You're
so I'm an
professional
actor.
Creative.
Yeah.
All right, which is great. All right, let's talk a little bit about cosplay this year.
What?
This is not my area of expertise. And we have a couple of pictures, if you could run those, of Katie. Because me and Katie became friends through Luke, Lara, and Derek. You guys all knew each other. And the first time I ever met you was Comic-Con a few years back. I remember.
Oh, yeah.
The way I met her was that my friend Greg was here, and he was for some reason getting a fight with somebody on the side of the street. And I was trying to push everybody through the crowd, and Katie was just there like happy-go-lucky. Hey, how are you guys doing? I was like, we got to talk to you later. I know who you are. And we just took off. And that's how we met. And
there you go.
Been frenemies ever since. No. So, Katie, why don't you describe to us like how many years you've been to Comic-Con and why it is, and describe like your cosplays and stuff.
So this will be year 3rd time I've renewed my registration. So year 6, I believe.
Okay.
Before, when I first started doing cosplaying, I kind of just did street clothes, casual cosplays because it was easier and I didn't have to sew, and it's a lot less time.
What do you mean by straight clothes, casual cosplay?
Like, just like straight clothes, like normal clothes that you would normally wear on a normal day.
Okay.
That's when, and then when my friends started going with me, that's when we started doing Sam and Dean Winchester.
Yeah.
So that became that thing. It's kind of our tradition now.
We have a picture of you guys as Sam and Dean Winchester on the site from last year.
And then I think it was 2 years ago now is when I did my first all-out cosplay that I made from 100% by myself, which was Lady Sif. Unfortunately, I do not have a picture of that one. But I did make the chainmail and everything, which took probably the whole costume probably took about 100 hours. Like, it was a long process.
I remember you texting me when you got the idea and you started on the chainmail, and you were telling me like progress along the way. It was a long time that you were doing that.
Yeah.
But mad respect.
Oh, I know.
It is on my Instagram. And then last year at Wondercon, I decided about 3 days before that I wanted to try and make a costume last minute because I didn't know I was going to be able to go. So I used a pattern for that one because I didn't have time to make it, and that's when I did my Vampire Diaries dress that was pictured. It's the green one. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was really fun. A lot of people didn't really know who it was because it's not an obvious cosplay, but it's definitely one of my favorite costuming shows. So I did that. For
a novice like me, you say that's the year I did a pattern. You act like that's such a bad. What does that mean? You got a pattern.
It means I used a store-bought pattern, and then you make it.
But you still made it.
Yes, I did still sew it and all that stuff, but I didn't make the pattern myself. That's what I mean by that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then this year, hopefully, I will get a steampunk Gamora costume finished. I have part of it started, so that's my plan for this year.
From Guardians?
Yes.
Steampunk Gamora, that's interesting.
Yeah. I have the bustle skirt made. I just have to make the cage and everything.
So. That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
What about you, Ben?
I don't know. Well, actually, I do know a couple. My girlfriend and I are doing kind of a secret project. We're going to a very tiny convention called Gallifrey 1. It's a Doctor Who convention at the LAX Marriott that happens February 16th through 19th, I believe. And we are doing a Doctor Who mashup cosplay with another franchise, possibly a franchise that just announced the title of the next film that's coming out in December, but I can't say any more than that. So
like Lego Doctor Who?
Yeah, Lego Batman Doctor Who is what we're doing.
Perfect.
But that's our first big cosplay of the year, and then we haven't planned anything out. We'll definitely bust out Gomez Morticia Adams again. And that'll probably be for Stan Lee's Kamikaze, I almost said, LA Comic-Con, because it takes place around Halloween usually. And then she and I usually do, she's part Asian, and we usually do indie and short round. We'll.
Yeah.
I saw you guys when you
did
did
that
that one. That was great.
Our biggest thing for that I'm proud of is we went out and actually found, because a lot of people will play short round with a New York Yankees cap. It's actually an old 1929 New York Giants ball cap. And so we actually found a replica of the old 29 Giants ball cap.
Go Giants.
Wow.
So there you go. So we found that, and so her costume is a little more authentic.
Well,
Yeah.
since we're talking about San Diego Comic-Con, WonderCon, and the few other cons going, have you seen? It seems like the panels and the activities and the events surrounding cosplay has just exploded. It seems like it's almost like an outsized part of the cons these days. Have you noticed the same? Have you guys?
Yeah, I mean, when I look at the list of panels and stuff, there is a lot more catering to that. I haven't been to any, unfortunately, but I do know that there's a lot of stuff, and especially with like the portfolio reviews and everything too. A lot of one of my friends actually is at Erda's right now. She just took her portfolio of stuff, and most of it is cosplay stuff because that's the stuff that she's made. So, and it's a beautiful display. So it's like it's becoming more mainstream, I guess, when it comes to things like that. And it's kind of cool. I think it's cool. I've definitely noticed that there's a lot more of stuff integrated with cosplay now.
Yeah.
So
I think it's really interesting how it's blown up. You know, we had this kind of initial wave in the late 90s and early 2000s that kind of started this whole nerd, takeover. The geek have inherited the earth, to be sure. And, it's become this huge pop culture thing. That's why Comic-Con is getting slammed now, and it's so hard to get a ticket. I talk to people from San Diego or used to go to San Diego Comic-Con. They're like, I remember I used to be able to walk up and buy a ticket the day of.
I did that my very first Comic. It was
There
like
you go.
9 years ago. I didn't really know what Comic-Con was. I just went up, got a ticket on Saturday.
Nice.
We liked it so much we decided, hey, let's get a ticket for Sunday too.
Yeah. And so, that's the first wave. And then, cosplay went from the guy who wanted to dress up like a wizard and threw on a bathrobe and went to a convention to now people making their own patterns like you were talking about and using literally like cinematic and theatrical costume designer skills to build their favorite characters. And it's, I think the draw of somebody to the whole kind of geek culture tends to draw creative people as well, I think. And so this is a way for creative people to really get into it and be, exercise their creativity.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I think this may be the very first year I actually do a cosplay.
Do it.
I know.
Yeah.
It is because I had such a blast at the rehearsal dinner doing steampunk.
Join us.
I actually here's why I figured.
Usually, all Jim does is wears a T-shirt with a cartoon version of his own face on it.
There, yeah.
Right.
There you go.
It's good enough for me. But
Wearing a Burt Ward mask of some sort. No.
something like that.
The yellow mask.
So it's been given away. That's
You
my
should
face
dress
up there.
as the con
You should
guy.
dress
Yeah.
as the
The
con
con
guy.
guy.
Go.
That's perfect.
Okay, I'll
You
do
need
that.
a yellow mask.
But you know
and
what I
yellow
found
kit
out this year?
and black spandex.
I was trying to figure out how do I make something like that? How do I make a steampunk? I just went into what was it, Joann Fabrics? They have a steampunk section.
I'm
Yeah.
sure.
I never knew that. And then I went into
Party City?
No, I didn't go to Party City. Well, they have like every store you go into that has any kind of costume, they have big giant steampunk sections. So I think that just is indicative of just what's going on. And then I went downtown LA last weekend. There's this place called Jungle. And it's in Little Tokyo, and they have like three or four different stores. They had this whole big giant Japanese cosplay store. It's bizarre.
Awesome.
And you
I
would love
wanna
it.
go.
You would love it with all the wigs and all the everything.
Katanas and
Yeah,
everything.
it's really great.
Well, and I'll tell you,
and
downtown.
it's new. It's a new one.
Downtown LA Fashion District is a great place to
Sure.
pick up stuff too, and any of you can jump in on this, but especially I don't do a lot of steampunk, but I know steampunk, like two of your best friends are the hardware store and brass colored spray paint.
Oh yeah.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
We used
Now-
a lot of that at our wedding.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they look great. Now we're kind of running low on time. We got to kind of wrap up here. But Katie, if you had to give advice on where to get cosplay, how do you put your cosplays here? Where do you get your stuff?
Well, I recently was introduced to Hobby Lobby about 5 years ago. I get a lot of stuff there because they have such good deals. They have always have a 40% off coupon online.
Yep.
You can use one a day. It is great. They have everything from home decor to any kind of crafting supplies you can think of. I do that a lot of that. I did go to the fashion district when I bought my fabric for WonderCon. I definitely recommend that if you're in an LA because you can get some good deals on fabric.
But if you're not in LA,
I'm sure there's other
yeah.
things similar to that.
There's Hobby Lobbies.
Yeah.
That a
Yeah,
lot of
Hobby
Yeah,
Lobby's a
Hobby
national
Lobby is
chain.
plus
Yeah, yeah.
national.
The internet is your friend. I would encourage you thrift stores as well. You can
yeah.
always cut up old clothes or utilize a full piece in your costume, or patronize local businesses.
And we're going to get you guys
Yeah.
back in here and do a special cosplay edition of the show, just to like show how people like me who are complete novices can do it. But I want to see some of the professional stuff as well. All right, as we close out
They'll
the show,
dress up Jim live on the show.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Okay.
That's what we need.
Hey Luke, are you cosplaying this year? Do you know what
I'm
it's going to
sure I will. I have some
You're
of
going to
the
do Castiel
old
again,
school-
right?
Military
Yeah, I
surplus
gotta
stores
do
are also
Cass
great.
again.
He has to do
Nice.
Castiel again.
Hey,
Maybe, I don't know, people like the Abraham.
Have you guys seen this Castiel? Oh man,
Yeah.
Oh, you do a Castile. I didn't know.
I mean, he looks a lot like him.
He looks
already,
a little like
you know,
Misha
but-
a little bit. All right, so as we close out the show, everybody that is able to give me one prediction of things we're going to see in the next 6 months to a year at the cons. I have mine. I'll start. And this is a good prediction. I think this year we are going to see lots and lots of Carrie Fisher tributes at the cons. There's already Drown in Moonlight will be at Star Wars Celebration April 13th. Dragon Con has a memorial set for September 1st, and I think that's just the first of the Carrie Fisher memorials. This would be very sad.
Strangled by her bra and drowning in moonlight.
I love her. All right, what else? What else do you think? Who's got a prediction?
I don't know. I'm just seeing like with all the Star Wars stuff and like the Empire. I just, for whatever reason, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of parallels to like the Empire in our current situation, political.
Dun, dun,
so
dun, 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 dun.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what that looks like, but I feel like something will happen with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll echo. I agree with both of you guys. I'm also wondering and kind of hoping that some of the things that have not been at Comic-Con the last year or two will be back now. Like, we didn't have a good Doctor Who panel. We didn't have, wasn't it like 20th Century Fox didn't show with their movies?
All
and,
the
like,
films dropped last year except for Marvel. Marvel was there
Yeah.
last year. Oh, and
But I
Warner
feel
Brothers,
like-
of course. Warner
Yeah.
Brothers had it. It was.
I would
Yeah, Brie
imagine
and I
some of
were
that
in
stuff
that.
might.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We were in the Hall H for the Warner Brothers thing.
Oh, nice. I'm
awesome.
sorry I missed that. But I'm hoping some of them will start to come back, or at least show up at some more conventions, just because it helps them.
I think Lucasfilm will be back this year.
Yeah.
To some of the conventions, they have their own, but it's in the States. All right.
Speaking of, I think we're going to see what happened a couple years ago, and during Star Wars Celebration, I think we're going to see a Last Jedi teaser drop.
That would be awesome.
I think we're definitely going to see that.
I think that, yeah, yep.
I think I'm going to make a cosplay prediction. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of newts from Fantastic Beasts in order to find them.
Yep.
I already
Yep.
saw one at work, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be a pretty popular cosplay.
How many nifflers, though?
I haven't seen
I
any. If
love
I
the
see,
Niffler.
I want one though. So if anybody knows where I can get one, I want one.
Yeah.
But that's what I think. That and Doctor Strange, if they can manage to make it really awesome.
Wait, you mean
cape.
you want a real one?
Yes,
or
I
like,
want a real one.
Okay.
I think Doctor Strange too. I think Doctor
Yeah, I
Strange
think
too.
Doctor Strange as well.
Same thing with like cosplay. I think there's gonna be like a ton of Spider-Mans out there. It'll be like the Deadpool of last year.
Yeah.
With the new movie coming out, this could possibly be the best Spider-Man movie
I
Yeah.
think
ever.
it looks like it.
and
Yeah.
stuff. The way they set it up with Civil War and
Yeah,
everything, I
absolutely.
think there's a lot of potential. And then Wonder Woman, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of that this year too.
I had before we close. I just got a text from our friend Geschwend.
Good job. You're getting all the names right tonight.
Bring me back an In-N-Out cheeseburger, please. that's how he agrees. All right, I
There we go.
2 more conventions that
I
we'll
guess
close
they're
out.
open to one.
We're closing. I think some of the smaller conventions are going to eat each other this year, which is sad. And then hopefully Marvel Studios is going to be back at both D23 and San Diego this year. Listen, guys, we are wrapping up. I am Jim. I'm with the Con Guy. You can find me at Con Guy Jim. Find me online on the Con Guy at theconguy.com. Laura.
Lara at La Sumera.
Derek, you can find me on Twitter at ConGuyDerek.
Actor, writer, comedian Ben Kliewer at Ben Kliewer, BenkLiewer.
Katie Kawamoto. You can also find my cosplay one at Katie's Fairy Tale.
Oh, we'll
That's
have to check
also
that out.
on Instagram as well. So
Can you see that again?
Katie's Fairy Tale.
All right.
Yeah. And Luke Cheeseman, you can find me on theconguy.com or on Twitter at ConGuyLuke.
All right, everybody. Thanks for a great week this week. I'm super excited about 2017. We'll be seeing you guys around at all the conventions. See you there. All right. Subscribe.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
Views expressed herein are those of the hosts only, and not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.